Today, we're taking a timeless piece of wisdom and, well, we're dropping it straight into a gritty, super atmospheric world. Picture this: a sprawling, hyper commercial, neon lit cyberpunk city. Where the tech is incredibly advanced, but the fundamental human struggles, finding purpose, direction, figuring out what actually matters, those are exactly the same. So, we're going to explore a story that cuts right through the noise of absolutely any era. Okay, let's dive into this. Time is free for everyone, but it is priceless. Wow. It's a core philosophical truth that just hits incredibly hard, whether you're chilling in a quiet ancient village or navigating a bustling high-tech metropolis. We're going to unpack exactly what this means through the lens of a father, his son, and a very specific kind of wild lesson. Section 1. The Lazy Boy's Dilemma. So we start with a guy living in this small, kind of overlooked sector of our vast city. And he's deeply worried about his son. This young guy is frankly lazy. He's careless, and he just aimlessly wanders those glowing neon streets all day long with absolutely zero purpose, no drive whatsoever. The father finally decides, what, enough is enough. He needs to teach his son a lesson that's actually going to stick. So he walks over to what we can envision as this secure, high-tech vault, a cupboard holding these old relics of the past, and gently tells his son to grab a very specific watch. Section 2. The price of a watch. The father gives the boy two super direct, simple instructions. 1. Take this physical watch down to the market. 2. Ask everyone you meet how much they think it's worth. The boy is, understandably, a bit confused by this totally analog quest, right? But he nods and heads out into the crowded, hyper-commercial market, just swarming with aggressive traders and merchants. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what happens when you try to value a physical commodity. The boy gets entirely different answers from the crowd. One trader says the watch is worth 500 rupees. Another says 800. A third offers 1,000 rupees. Some people guess the same numbers, sure, but absolutely no one in that entire massive market agrees completely. The perceived value of this physical object fluctuates wildly, depending entirely on who happens to be looking at it at that exact second. So the boy heads back home and reports all these arbitrary monetary values to his dad. Some said 500, some 800, some a grand. But instead of explaining what the real price is, the father has this incredibly calm, kind of mysterious reaction. He simply smiles and says, "All right, put the watch back in the cupboard." Section 3. A foolish question. The very next day, the father calls his son back. He has him fetch the exact same watch from the cupboard. But this time, he gives him a totally strange new directive. He tells the boy to go back to the market, but, and here's the catch, he is absolutely not allowed to ask for the price of the physical watch. Instead, he has to ask this stark question: what is the price of the time inside this watch? This right here is the ultimate turning point of our explainer. We're pivoting straight away from the value of a physical machine and diving right into the philosophical core of existence itself. You can imagine the boy's deep confusion. He has no idea what his father is getting at, but he obeys and goes back out anyway. And let me tell you, this hyper-focused, profit-driven market does not take kindly to abstract philosophy. People looked at him strangely. Some literally laughed right in his face. Others told him to just get lost, openly mocking him and calling it a foolish question. The poor kid is just left standing there, feeling embarrassed, sad, and completely out of place in his chaotic, super fast-paced environment. Section 4. The Old Watchmaker's Truth. Defeated and sad, the boy finally stops at a small, really unassuming shop tucked far away from all the noise. Inside, there's an old shopkeeper meticulously repairing watches. And when the boy asks his totally strange question about the price of time, the old man does something literally no one else in the market was willing to do. He actually pauses his intricate work. He looks up at the boy with a kind smile. It's this beautiful, stark contrast to the chaotic, Grady rush outside. This old watchmaker actually stops to genuinely listen and understand. So the crucial point is exactly what this wise watchmaker says next. You can give millions of rupees, but you cannot buy back even 1 second of your life. He delivers this with such serious atmospheric gravity, you just cannot put a price tag on time. It literally doesn't matter how rich you are or how many millions you manage to amass out there in that bustling market, you absolutely cannot buy back a single second once it's passed. The old man continues, and he lays out this brilliant dichotomy about the nature of time. On one hand, the bad news. Time simply passes. It's slipping away right now as we speak. But on the other hand, the good news, you possess an incredibly empowering freedom. You get to choose how to spend it. It's a double-edged sword, really. And recognizing both sides of that blade is absolutely crucial to mastering your own life. Section 5, the Great Equalizer. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is it all comes down to a single, totally undeniable number, 24. 24 hours, that is the absolute unbreakable limit for every single human being in the world. No piece of technology, no amount of market wealth, no societal status can ever change this fundamental law of our universe. The old man spells it out perfectly for the boy. The great equalizer in our world isn't money at all. The true difference between the rich and the poor, or the successful and the stagnant, is simply how they use those 24 hours. Your daily allocation of time is your actual true wealth, and it's distributed perfectly evenly to every single one of us every single morning. This is the exact moment everything finally clicks for the boy. First, his eyes just fill with understanding. The lesson finally landed. Second, he thanks the old man, hurries straight home, and eagerly tells his proud father everything that had happened. And third, from that day forward, his entire life changes completely. He stops wandering those neon streets aimlessly. He starts working hard. He completely abandons his lazy lifestyle because he finally truly understood the real underlying value of every single moment. Let's move to and see how this builds into the ultimate rules of time and how they apply directly to your own daily choices. Look, you cannot buy it, but you can use it wisely. You cannot keep it locked away in some high-tech vault for later, but you can spend it on things that actually matter. It's a resource that requires your constant, active, and super intentional management. Which leaves us with this final, lingering, and honestly provocative thought. Just remember that time is completely free, but it is entirely priceless. Once a second, a minute, or an hour is gone, you can never get it back. No way. It is gone forever. So as you look at your own 24 hours today, how are you going to use yours?